All right, tough news coming from the local employment sector and some national companies whose layoffs will impact Orange County as well. Joining us now, live from the Orange County Register building in Santa Ana, is Orange County Register business columnist Jonathan Lansner. We're glad to have you with us. John, how you doing?
My pleasure.
All right, let's start with the Orange County employment. The recent news has not been great. Let's start with Allergan first and foremost. What's going on over there?
Well, you know, you've seen obviously bad news in the employment sector in Orange County the past year or so. Last year was probably the worst in 5. Whether you worked or were seeking work, clearly real estate was to blame. But what we've seen the last several months and clearly in the last several weeks is the fact that it's not just real estate anymore. Allergan's a classic example. You know, they sell the most popular product is Botox. Certainly it has some very powerful medicinal uses. It's also used for a little bit of vanity now and then. And their business is off. They're going to lay off some people across the country and around the world, about 5% of their employment base. It's a small layoff here, but it starts to show you that this economic slowdown is more about more than just housing and mortgages and those businesses. It's certainly spreading throughout the economy.
Let's also talk about the Capital Group companies. They're the parent company of American funds. They're located here in Orange County, correct?
Yes, Capital Group's been in Orange County for a long time. It's always had a large facility up in Brea, moved some of those people to Irvine recently, and now they have to have layoffs too. They run mutual funds. They're in the stock business. They get paid per every dollar of assets they have,
right.
And they have less assets under management. Pretty simple. Less assets, less dollars, need for less, maybe not less need for dollars, but less employees they can afford. So certainly they're showing you how the stock market, which is a global problem, is affecting us right here in Orange County.
Is that affecting the Broadcom too as well, John?
You know, I mean, Broadcom is not immune. Clearly, technology seems to be one of those things that should be above some of this. On the flip side, they make everything from chips for iPhones to things that go in those cable set-top boxes, and those businesses are slowing down too. I mean, when people don't have enough money for the basics and are losing their jobs, they may not be thinking about a new iPhone or may, be cutting back on the cable service, and those are things that are, right directly in Broadcom's line of service. So you see with these 3 layoffs that it is not just anymore a real estate problem.
No, it's not. It's widespread. And the saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough go shopping. Is that what it is? Well, so far the shopping may not have helped over the Christmas vacation. I was a little surprised to see Macy's not only laying off, but also shutting down some of their major outlets here in Orange County.
You know, I mean, I think every retailer is going to be faced with extremely tough questions about not only how many workers do they keep, and how many stores do they keep open, but in some cases their own viability. So they're going to be very tough looks, and I think you're going to see more and more store closings, and it's a broad brush. It's, some of them make sense. I'm not picking on Pier 1, but they're in the furnishings business. If the housing business stinks, the furnishing. Macy's does a pretty good business with clothing and home furnishings. That's going to be troubled. I think you're going to start seeing other electronics. Circuit City is, again, a no-brainer. It's something you don't need to buy. I mean, the scary thing is when it gets down to sort of, let's say, things you really need, like drugstores or supermarkets, when they're having a tough time, you may be the signal that this is really ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Tourism usually is pretty strong. How is this being affected? Well,
I think tourism may have gotten particularly locally, a very odd bounce in the past year to sort of push off some of the problems, which was, quote, the concept of staycation, right? $4 gas, you weren't going to drive far, you were going to stay around here, go to Disneyland, go to Knott's, stay at the beach instead of, whether you were flying somewhere or driving somewhere. Well, I think people's finances have gotten worse, and this week you said Disney said they had a horrible quarter. Again, they don't split out Disneyland, but across their vacation areas, including some significant price cuts that they're going to drive through the summer. That sort of tells you how tough things are. The airport traffic last year was off about 9% year over year, telling you that there are 9% less people either leaving or coming here. That can't be good, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of reason to think that any of this is going to change soon. And somewhat oddly, now that we have $2 gas, it doesn't seem to get people thinking about spending extra dollars in the tourism game. It's going to be a very challenging year, and I think part of the lesson is to cross your fingers, and if you're a business or employed in a business, hopefully you can make it to 2010 when things may be better.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope for the best. Okay, folks can read your blog, OCRegister.com/Lansner. Thanks a lot for joining us.
My pleasure,
Glad
guys.
to see you, John. All right.